Hi everyone. In this video I wanted to take another look at Trump and Putin. In particular, the latter is now heavily celebrated as a fighter for the free world along with a bunch of other so-called Whitehats, which, by the way, include Xi Jinping from China. Hard to believe. There's now a real danger that people, so-called awake people, dream dance into a hostile communist takeover. As a reminder, I wanted to look at some of the body language of Trump and Putin. Despite all the positive Trump and Putin memes on Telegram, when you actually observe them and listen to what they say, you quickly see what they're really about. So let's get started.
When I left office, and we're very proud of this because this was something that they said could not be done. The FDA said it, everybody said it. Any article you read said it. Couldn't be done. It would be years and years. I handed the new administration what everyone is now calling a modern-day medical miracle. Some say it's the greatest thing to happen in hundreds of years.
So we see the typical signs of a narcissist. We see mockery. We see oversimplification of complex topics. We see fantasies of grandeur when he talks about modern-day miracles and it can't be done. We see jerky movements of the shoulder and of the head. You can in particular recognize a narcissist by his hair. The bigger and puffier, the more a narcissist we have here. We also see that he puts his chin up, so that's a sign of pride, probably more arrogance in this case. He likes to hear the tone of his voice. He savors the moment in the spotlight. Is this really the liberator of the free world?
Of years. 2 vaccines produced in record time with numerous others on the way, including the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that was approved just yesterday. And therapeutic relief also. If you're sick, we have things now that are incredible. What has taken place over the last year under our administration. It would have taken any other president at least 5 years, and we got it done in 9 months. Everyone says 5 years, so 5 years. Can you imagine if you had to go through what all of the countries of the world who are now getting the vaccine or soon will be getting it from various companies, but can you imagine if all of those countries had to go through what they've been going through over the last year? You'd lose hundreds of millions of people. I pushed the FDA like they have never been pushed before. They told me that loud and clear. They have never been pushed like I pushed them. I didn't like them at all. But once we got it done, I said, I now love you very much. What the Trump administration has done with vaccines has, in many respects, perhaps saved large portions of the world, not only our country, but large portions of the world.
So with all the positive stuff written about Trump, especially on Telegram, which is not much censored, but I fear is heavily infiltrated and controlled in other ways, you lose track of what kind of person he actually is. Yeah, and when you listen to him, you know, what he says is full of arrogance, doesn't make a lot of sense, and is, you know, plainly dumb and dangerous.
Not only did we push the FDA far beyond what the bureaucrats wanted to do, we also put up billions and billions of dollars, 10 billion, to produce the vaccines before we knew they were going to work.
My God.
It was called a calculated bet or a calculated risk. We took a risk.
Or a huge waste of money.
Because if we didn't do that, you still wouldn't have the vaccines. You wouldn't have them for a long time. So think of that. We took
Yeah, thank you very much.
this bet. We made a bet because we thought we were on a certain track. But you'd be starting to make them right now. It would be a long time before you ever saw them. It takes 60 to 100 days to manufacture and inspect new doses. And that means that 100% of the increased availability that we have now was initiated by our administration, 100%.
Very good. It's good to be reminded of that, because people seem to get confused now. Let's look at Putin, what he has to say about the vaccines. So we don't see the big hair, but we still see quickly what he's all about. In particular, we see a lot the expression of disgust on his face. in particular here at the start.
Принял для себя решение привиться спутником ВИ. Тем более, что вооруженные силы у нас прививаются спутником ВИ, а я все-таки верховный главнокомандующий. Вот.
So he's talking about this vaccine, Sputnik 5, and also subtitles are in German. I can translate a little bit. So the key thing is here, commentator or interviewer said a young woman here, she leans away from him. So that's not a good sign. So instinctively she knows what's going on, and she's distancing herself or trying to get away as much as possible, at the same time putting on a smile. We see also the people with the face mask in the background. So this is not the liberator. He's not fighting for the free world here, this guy. In particular, it's important with the interviewer because she's like a mirror. So, and she's less coached, presumably, and yeah, she's assumed to be secondary and not considered important. So that's quite authentic here, her movement. So that's quite telling.
Я уже говорил, могу повторить еще раз. Вот после первого укола вообще ничего не чувствовал. Где-то часа...
Describing how he got the injections, what he felt like after the first and the second, there was a little bit of pain, and so on and so on. So he's pretending now on TV that he got injected with this experimental vaccine. Also, I don't know much about the Sputnik. So what we see typical for Putin, he goes into these monologues and he doesn't even look at the interviewer, commentator, and so on. Yeah, this is more the sign of a dictator who just gives monologues and doesn't care about the opinion of the person who's interviewing him. So he's former KGB, but he's actually a very bad actor. So he's giving all these details to sound truthful. So giving irrelevant details is a sign of truth, but this is just played here and one can tell quite easily.
Через 4, ну так чувствовалось вместе укола, так небольшая чувствительность появилась. После второго я сделал в 12 часов дня, в 12 часов ночи, измерил температуру.
Details about said he had a little bit of fever, said it was painful. He doesn't look at anyone. He's just going into this monologue. It's not very respectful towards other people. Was the interviewer.
Температура была 37,2. Лег спать, проснулся 36,6. Все.
So this is not a face of someone who believes the person across from her. So that's a sign of fear. She's nodding, but the eyes are wide open, and she's leaned away. So she's, I would say, somewhat terrified of him.
Вот и через там сколько-то дней.
And she's not questioning anything. She's just nodding and looking down. This is not how it's done in a free world.
Дней 10, дней 20, что ли, прошло.
So he claims now after 20 days they took his blood and then, looked at the result and he had lots of antibodies.
Взяли кровь, посмотрели результаты, высокий уровень защиты.
So for the second time he briefly looks at her. Okay. So here Putin talks to Erdogan. He wants to make us believe that he was a test person, that this was a private conversation they have, which was accidentally caught by a camera, but they are arranged in a semicircle, so good accessible to the camera. And Putin, in fact, is right in front of the camera. Also, he pretends he doesn't know he's filmed. And again, we know it's a fake because Putin tells a ludicrous story in great detail. So details is a sign of truthfulness, but it's all fake. He basically tells us that people in his inner circle got sick because they didn't get the booster fast enough. Yeah, let's have a look.
%80 aşı olduğu halde gene de yeni bir dalga gelmiş. Delta virüsü.
Дельта и другие варианты, наверное, уничтожаются.
Ну вот я сказал.
He pretends he was a test person. The president of Russia, I wanted to say China, pretends he was a test person for an experimental vaccine. So we know it's fake, we know it's wrong. Erdogan, at least he keeps his poker face throughout the whole interview clip.
Реально эксперимент практически
получился. Сам на себе провел. Oldu benim yakınımda.
So very specific, 55 people in his inner circle apparently got sick because they didn't get the booster fast.
35 человек вокруг меня заболели, потому что мы поздно ревакцинировали.
Erdogan is just nodding. It looks like he's not particularly bright. He doesn't seem to get things very fast. I don't know, maybe he's just played here. At least he's not breaking his poker face.
Burada çalışan 30 kişi kadar hastalandı. 3. dozu geç aldıkları için.
Адъютант, с которым я целый день проработал с утра до вечера, заболел.
24 saat yanımda olan yaverim keza öyle.
So Putin is telling his bullshit story. bad actor.
Высокие, у меня, слава богу,
Bana ise hiçbir şey olmadı. Antikorum cüzden yüksek olduğu için.
Now he's breaking his poker face, he's laughing, he's cracking up. So even though he's KGB or former KGB, I don't think he's a good actor.
Сколько у вас были антитела?
Я не помню, где-то
Hatırlamıyorum.
они по-разному считают, где-то 15-16.
Now he's trying to concentrate, so that's a typical sign of disgust. It's often used when one tries to concentrate or pretends to concentrate. He's trying to remember how many antibodies he has.
15 mi 16 mı hatırlamıyorum. Çok düşük.
16 мы все-таки
Вот ein
низкий
Clown.
уровень.
Это, они как-то по-разному это считают.
Onların farklı sistemleri var.
Специалист сказали, что это у меня
Benim
высокий.
antikor mesela 1000 üzerindeyim.
А мои антитела были больше 1100.
Но это как-то по разные подсчеты.
Farklı sistemleri var.
Вот, но у меня был высокий. Вот.
Some think these are Whitehats and the liberators. They fight for the free world. What bullshit.
Benimki yüksekti.
Несмотря на то, что я с инфицированным человеком целый день провел вместе,
O hasta olan
Ne
kişiyle
заболел.
birlikte olduğum halde bana bir şey olmadı.
так что в следующий раз будете ревакцинироваться, во-первых, своевременно, а во-вторых,
Üçüncü dozu
спутником лучше.
asla ihmal etmeyin. Hem zamanında alın hem
Erdogan now says he got the booster from Pfizer and BioNTech. Hard to believe. I mean, you must be really dumb to take this poison.
Ben de Biontech olarak aldım.
Я уже
При вас в следующий раз.
bir sonrakini.
He seems much more natural with his responses, with his laughs. So he seems much more believable, while Putin seems really a bad actor.
Спасибо вам за визит,
Teşekkür
очень,
ediyorum
очень
davet
было
için. Ziyaret
полезно
için.
и содержательно.
Here, a quick commercial for the Trump card. Another hint what it's all about. Let's finish with this clown.
Donald Trump Jr. here. I'm reaching out today because we're about to finalize our Trump Gold Card membership roster, and I wanted to give you one last chance to be a part of history with us.
So in summary, we see the usual signs of narcissism and grandeur in Trump and calculated manipulation in theater by former KGB agent Putin. He's actually quite a bad actor, I think. I don't want to say much here because I wanted to upload this on YouTube, but there's more commentary on my Telegram channel. Note, I started my YouTube channel in June 2017 with Trump, and I'm returning to some of these topics 5 years later. So what an interesting time we live in. Hope you liked this video. I'm looking forward to your comments, as this is a bit a controversial topic, even among the so-called awake people, and also because on the current setup on Telegram you can't leave comments, so whatever comments you have you can leave underneath the YouTube videos. So thank you again for watching, and talk to you next time. Bye.